What's going on, y'all? Appreciate y'all clicking this video. Make sure that you're also clicking like, subscribe. Leave us those comments with your thoughts on this video. Niners, the Cowboys. Niners favored by 4.5, over under 45.5. Thoughts on this one?
I will take San Francisco minus the 4.5. I think they bludgeon Dallas. I think again Dallas is not who we thought they were, or at least not the team that we saw last week. I think we see water find its level, and I think the level is closer to what they were the last 5 or 6 weeks of the season than what they were last week against Tampa Bay. So I'll take San Francisco minus the 4.5, but I will take the under in this one. Oddly enough, I think this is the lowest point total of the weekend, and I've taken the under in this one. But I think it's going to be something like a 23-10 type deal.
So I'm taking Dallas to cover this, and it's not a popular opinion, but I could see Dallas winning this game outright. I think that if I were Mike McCarthy, I would be paying very, very close attention to what the Raiders did when they played the San Francisco 49ers in week 17. That was a high-scoring affair. The Raiders were able to kind of jump on them and do some different things with route combinations to confuse a little bit the secondary. And I think the Cowboys' offensive line is just good enough to give Dak time to do some of that. On the flip side, this Cowboys pass rush, trying to go through all those games that Brock Purdy's played, I do believe that this Cowboys pass rush is probably going to be the most creative and fastest pass rush that he has seen in his young NFL career. And I think that stymies Brock Purdy a little bit. Like, we could see some chinks in the armor here if the pass rush gets home early, speeds up his clock slightly, and that leads to mistakes, right? We see this even with all-pro veteran quarterbacks. So that's at least my game script to how the Cowboys win. But I do think they keep this within 4.5. I don't see any of these games. Well, I don't see this game. Maybe I should leave it at that. I don't see this game being a blowout. I think the Cowboys have enough talent, just raw talent, to keep it close. But we are going to have to see a lot out of Dak Prescott, CeeDee Lamb, and Dalton Schultz. It is not going to be so much Zeke Elliott and Tony Pollard.
Yeah, this one here is a great matchup, right? Like, love seeing these two teams in the playoffs, right? It always kind of brings up the nostalgia days of old in the early 90s when watching some of these, watching these two franchises go at each other in the playoffs. But I think you're right. I think the Cowboys managed to keep this thing within about a field goal, right? That's about where this thing feels like. I do think that there's going to be plenty of points put up on this one. Could easily see both of these teams, end up close to 30 when this thing's all said and done. Like, I think this one here actually might be one of the higher scoring games of the week. Like, that's where I see this one coming to 27-30 type of thing. I think the Niners win in advance, but it's going to be close. It's going to come down to the last play, I think, is how this one's going to do. As far as the prop, I've got George Kittle under 51.5 receiving yards.
Alex, why don't you go ahead and share yours here, because this is interesting.
Objection, Your Honor. So I found a line of 50.5 receiving yards for George Kittle, and I will take the over on that. So
if George Kittle lands at 51 receiving yards, you both
win. Yes.
I like that. I'm taking Brock Purdy under 236.5. It's not going to be through the air where he's going to be successful, or where this Niner team is really going to be successful. It's going to have to be with Christian McCaffrey, Elijah Mitchell, and this ground game. That's how you nullify the pass rush, is you gash them on the ground. And because of that, they're going to want to get the ball out of Purdy's hands as quickly and as frequently as possible, whether it's through the run game or the short passing game. And I think that limits his yardage upside.